Inside FURIA, the team Ollie, which you have harked on about, saying that they'll steal my heart. It's still here, Ollie. I still haven't yet to see the best of FURIA.
FURIA will steal your heart if you don't keep a watch. They are a team that kind of just grab you. A team that you really start to want to back, and a team that you really want to start to do well. And I've got a feeling, I know that they picked up a lot of fans over the course of the last stage of the BR6, and I've got a feeling they're going to be picking up a few more here as we move into the Invitationals. The bans now coming on in. Dokkaebi and Thatcher, first two to be removed. Liquid with the two middle bans. They're going to bring out their defender now. It's going to be the Valkyrie. We're seeing an extortionate amount of Valkyrie banned out, Demo.
Yeah, Valkyrie as a whole, an extremely strong operator. Information is a big thing in almost every map, so Valkyrie is always going to be a solid ban. Finally, the mirror being gone as well, so no surprise. I think those bans, maybe apart from the Dokkaebi, everything is pretty normal there.
Yeah, the Dokkaebi coming in there as a little bit of a left field ban, not something that we necessarily expected to see, but not an operator that, you know, Liquid shy away from. They do bring the Lion, they do bring the Dokkaebi, they do bring these information gathering tools. As if on cue, Moringa, he's going to be starting off here on the Lion, at least for the time being, pending a good old 6 pick.
So FURIA on the defense first. Shally attacker-sided, defender-sided. I'm kind of leaning into the attacker favorite at the moment only.
It's a really tough one to call in, isn't it? I think it's still a developing map, and it's still a map that we're learning a lot about in terms of, you know, how these regions want to try and play on it. It's obviously the first time we're seeing Chalet played on an international stage. Yeah. I know this could be seen as more of a regional derby between the two LATAM teams, but the Invitational as a whole is going to be the first chance for teams to play Chalet across the seas. And we're going to see even more, I imagine, about it, how those matchups start to face off.
See the Kaid Electroclaw being placed on the cabinet beside that main double wall. An interesting thing, Ollie, is that they're going to try and really cut off any potential of that wall. With those Kaid charges, very, very tricky. The only way you can get rid of them is basically you have to go below. And if he's put the Electroclaw on another elevated piece of furniture inside of that bomb site, you can't see it even if you do go below. So overall, Liquid with the I think the time has to be on their side if they want to make this happen. They are going to have to spend a lot of utility being able to eliminate that, because if you do not have that main wall open, Ollie, for this attack, it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to be as simple as getting someone in, throwing an Ash Breaching round underneath or a Zofia Lifeline and letting that do the business. You're going to need a nade. Lender gets punished early on.
Had to be a jump out now.
It was an early Claymore that had been placed. I think it was the window above Garage there. Not wasting any time. PSK getting himself into position, placing that utility down, and it's going to reward him with a very early frag.
It's a good one to get as well. That's a C4 off the board, which we know is very important for a lot of defenders. And on the strategy that FURIA have set up, where they're trying to waste time using the utility that the Kaid can bring to the table, we'll have those C4s in the late game to try and stop the defuse. G2, a team which have played Chalet quite a bit so far, they have heavily invested in a lot of pulse action to accompany the C4 just because of how destructible the map can be.
Liquid a plant-focused team as well. It's good to be removing some of that utility. It just gives one less thing to worry about for Sexy Kate before he inevitably tries to get that plant down, as he often does. Everything is stalled for a time, though. So Liquid is still trying to get into a position to deal with the electrification. Sexy Kate going to get himself in and just make a small hole there with the blowtorch. In fact, he may be going for a full delete here. That could be a reasonable way of actually getting in here and just circumventing that Electroclaw.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and use the Maverick blowtorch, but it's very, very difficult and very risky. Keep in mind, holes work both ways. How many times have we seen a Maverick try and open up the wall, and there's been a defender on the other side saying hello to him? So, yeah, Liquid taking a big chance, but it is working for them. Electroclaw not going to matter in the end because Maverick is there, and Paul even manages to find a nade kill on DeFantasy, a big name player, Ollie, that you've highlighted quite a bit for FURIA.
One of the fraggers on the side of FURIA that can step up, all capable of getting the kills on the day, but often one of the more flashy members of the side. I think the wall is still being opened here. It looks as though Sexy Cake's having a bit of trouble as his teammates do start to fall around him. Rare's going to be able to take down Palu. A bit of a late trade there, as Palu did get a nade in the earlier part of the round, but we're getting toward the sharp end. There are only 20 seconds remaining. Toxic Babe's now going to cut off some of the access from Kanto Balcony. SexyCake still struggling to get that breach open, and you've got to think, how long do you leave it? Neski tanks nearly a full C4 before being taken down by Rare there, as SexyCake's going to fall as well. It's going to be a doorway and single window push here. 1 second remains. Likely an impactless frag, confirmed to be an impactless frag there from Moringa. As FURIA, they're going to take round number 1 out on time.
Liquid, what happened to you in the final minute? They had a great opening. They have the 2-man advantage, which is something that we know Liquid, they love to have, is that man advantage in going for that final plant. They have all the angles being covered, but they couldn't open up the main wall. I don't know what SexyCake was doing.
I am by no means a Maverick aficionado.
Get the briefcases.
You watch me with that blowtorch, I'm nothing to write home about, okay? I'm rubbish. It looks very abstract art-esque. Now, SexyCake, professional. Really good with the Maverick blowtorch. Why did he struggle inside of that round? And I'm thinking, Demo, correct me if I'm wrong, he went very low on the reinforcement. And I'm wondering if he went a little bit too low there and wasn't able to get rid of the key structural parts of that reinforced panel that are then able to, you know, delete essentially when you draw the Maverick line at the top, the Maverick line at the bottom, the panel deletes and you can soft breach the wall open. I'm wondering if there was something there that was just stopping him, causing him that little bit of trouble, and obviously he was constantly worried about Rare on the dock playing in behind that reinforced wall. The dock as well, able to tank a couple of grenades, able to keep himself alive.
We love whenever teams pick Maverick. We love it because it is so strong if you're playing with a kite on the board, Ollie. Me and you love pitching our sails, trying to sell that operator, and, you know, Liquid bringing it. It's great to see. They needed that operator if there's a kite, and, well, just if you're bringing the Maverick, make sure it's being used appropriately. It just, I don't know, I'm still baffled. But anywho, let's move on now and see if Liquid can bounce back in their second round. It will be a different bomb site. Not the basement, which is where a lot of teams actually at this event have actually strayed away from. Nobody's liking the garage at the moment. A lot of teams now favoring in towards your bar and gaming as well. And we've seen a few kitchens also in there, but bar and gaming being one of the big ones.
I think garage just plays too similarly to garage on Consular.
Too easy. It's too easy for attackers,
it's
yeah.
One of those where you can get that plant in and then just hold it from outside and it becomes quite difficult. It's very similar in that regard. Liquid are faced, of course, with a different objective here, with FURIA going 1 round up. They are going to be going down to bar and gaming, as you say. They're going to employ this little bit of a roam game here and keep themselves loose up on this top floor. It doesn't look as though they've invested too heavily in any one particular area. Instead, just ready to flex between where they are required. Ness is going to be working in now as a drone goes ahead and is going to call most of that top floor as clear. PSK finds an opener there over onto Rare. Paid for it with a good chunk of his health, but he got the frag nonetheless. 2 rounds, 2 opening kills for Liquid.
Can they hold on to it, Ollie? That's the question. Last time they had a great start. Slowly lost that advantage. But to be fair to Liquid, the man who caused them issues is now gone. So, Liquid, you have your first pick. You still have plenty of Lion charges to go through as well. Just take a bit of time, get the information you need. You don't have to rush anything at all. And he's almost predicting where the sledge would come in and try and open up the wall. And look at Fantasy, very aggressive. Trying to hold on to K9 as long as he can, but Liquid, they're not interested in K9. All they want is to get rid of the shield towards the top of the blue stairs. And, well, finally it's going to be eliminated.
Took a lot of utility to get rid of, but it is a power position. It's worth investing that utility to remove the shield at the top of those library stairs. It opens up the top floor somewhat and will allow Liquid to further their push. They're not working with a great deal of time again, despite getting an opening pick. PSK having 2 of the opening kills so far in this game. They've really not been able to capitalise on it in terms of any more pressure. Still going to be starting to get things open upstairs. As it looks as though Palu's unsure as to whether anybody is still playing on library. They are now going to be able to work vertically, however. A lion scan is going to come out. Palu going to be able to open up some hatches and maybe some of the soft flooring, but there's still a smoke to get through. Fantasy, an unknown factor on the bottom of those main stairs as well, could strike at any time. Ness comes in with a kill over onto high. Sexy Cake storms on into the site, finds himself a frag, and he's going to have to start getting that diffuser down as the time does tick, but Fantasy is there, right place, right time. He will, however, be taken out. Nesk is required to go huge, and huge he goes, finding that final frag, locking it in for Liquid. Tense stuff here already on Chalet Demo.
We're watching an IP again from yesterday, Ollie. The time is always up against them, and Liquid cutting it as close as they could. Miracle tried his best, but hey, there's your boy. There's your Hornets Nesk. There he is. Has it been kicked up enough for you?
I knew it'd catch on. It's only round 2 and you're already bringing it out. I knew it would catch on somewhat.
FURIA playing headers and volleys with him.
Oh, what a round we've just seen there. It is going to be enough for FURIA to say, you know what, we're going to give somewhere else a go. We're going to stick to our rotation. Kitchen and Dining going to be their next selection. A round that really could have gone either way. That isn't a clear-cut victory from Liquid. That was, you know, really digging deep, and it was a rough and tumble finish there.
Yeah, already the first 2 rounds, not the greatest Liquid. We know that they're a lot more clinical than that, Ollie. Whenever Liquid are good, oh boy, are they good. But sometimes whenever they look a little bit weak, you see the difference. You can see the struggle within them. And so far, it hasn't been the cleanest of rounds. But still, it's equal at the moment. Now we go to a third bomb site into the kitchen.
Looks as though they could be lacking a bit of confidence, you know, and this is kind of real big speculation here, but the way that Palu took so long to move over into Library, real hesitant as to whether someone was playing on Library stairs, it was 2 things, a lack of information and a lack of confidence.
Cyclops got them rattled. Must have. I mean, we talked about G2's mental state after suffering losses back-to-back, and well, if Liquid string another loss, and that's 2 back-to-back for them, God, you don't know where that's going to go for Liquid.
It is an important game for Liquid, important game for FURIA as well, and maybe an opportunity for them to strike.
Definitely a possibility.
Nothing separating them yet, though. Still early days. Kitchen going to be the site here. Are we going to see Liquid move with a little bit more conviction now they've got themselves a round under their belt?
So very aggressive in towards the top floor, which is expected, I think, for the Kitchen, with all that destructibility that you can gain if you are an attacker, if you get your sledge in, which we know Palu is a big fan of. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense for the defenders trying to hold away from that. I think this kind of bomb site, I can see very easy comparisons to like your Villa Kitchen, where you try and hold above, stop the destructibility. So yeah, overall FURIA doing a good job trying to hold on to that. Prepping the windows as well, and Palu seems to be aware of that one. But for the meantime, Liquid just taking their time. They've been very slow on their approach. And I think the difference is, Ollie, this time around is FURIA haven't gave away that first blood.
Everybody's still alive.
Oh,
there we go.
There
it's rare. Nesk is going to find that first frag. Was that aggression? Was that like a run out? Or was that just a nice little peek through the window?
It was a window peek.
I think it was a bit of a window peek. FURIA just getting a little bit too antsy there.
Is it the piano window, perhaps?
Maybe the piano window, there it was. Just getting a bit too antsy there for me. We've seen that Liquid are really good at getting through this utility. Why are they peeking out?
To be fair, I kind of rate the play from Rare. If he's up against Palu, who's trying to nade him out, where he's behind the shield and piano, he probably wasn't expecting Ness to be on the Overwatch, on the rooftop. You have to give credit to Liquid. They had everything covered, and Ness being able to give the cover over to Palu, and from there is a very easy pickoff by Rare. He tried his hand, and it didn't work for him this time. That wall will be opened. Sexy Cake doing a much better job this time around, opening up that office wall, and now it's just a matter of time for Liquid to set up their approach, and whenever they hit fast, Ollie, boy, are they hard at it.
Ness going to start opening up the wall now, but it is in fact going to be denied. Going to be a mute jammer on there. Palu finds a rotation kill there over onto Fantasy. All the kills so far going in Liquid's favour, but there are only 30 seconds here remaining. They've got to get themselves in. PSK finds himself another. The frags are starting to fly. This could be a flawless here for Liquid, and boy, do they need it. Miracle. He's in the 1 versus 5. He is playing on the smoke. 19 seconds left, but crossfire galore. Sexy Cake. He secures the final frag. Liquid, they chain 2 rounds together here.
That's the Liquid we know. that is the dominant team out of LATAM who have this setup, and then whenever they have that man advantage, they do not lose it.
What's your thought of this, Demo? We got a timeout for FURIA.
Very early.
Already.
Probably the earliest I think I've seen.
Ever. In the history. Jokes aside, very early timeout here for FURIA. You've got to question it. What are they trying to achieve with this?
I can get it, right? If they are feeling that they can do a lot better on their defensive half than their attacks, they need to make sure these next three defenses are extremely strong. So I do kind of respect the timeout. If they're focused on trying to win it in the opening half, then yeah, this is a correct moment to go for the timeout. You just lost 2 rounds of flawless as well. Keep that in mind. You want to make sure you're back in, ready to go for these next 3 defensive rounds.
Takes a little bit of the momentum away from Liquid as well. They've just come out there with a flawless.
Very scary team with momentum, Liquid.
Bit of a stomp there by all accounts. The kills were coming quite easily. It was classic Liquid just piercing from the outside. I think Palu got himself 2 kills. He didn't even enter on in.
Just starting the window.
He was just stood watching a window, finding rotations because of all the pressure that was being applied elsewhere by his team. The coordination there was what we expect to see from Liquid. That was them at their best, really running through, fragging out, and being able to communicate and all execute in perfect harmony with one another. So a good little timeout here gives Twister an opportunity to talk to the boys and just give them a little bit of a G up. If there's anything that they need to be doing differently, I would, I mean, I'm no expert, I'm not certainly no coach, but I'd maybe suggest the opening kill is something that they might want to try and keep hold of for a little bit longer. It's something they've lost a couple of times, in fact, every single round, and it's cost them in 2 out of those 3.
One player in Liquid who I think needs to have a big performance this game, and already has gotten off to a good start, is PSK Ollie. Probably one of his worst performances I think we've seen out of him last game against Cyclops. 2 kills and 10 deaths for him. That's very uncharacteristic of a player of that caliber. And it's good to see that he's already back on form. He's got more kills already than he did last game.
Yeah, bouncing back strong here in Chalet. Consulate obviously not his jam today. He did struggle on there. FURIA are going to take us back upstairs. Back into that master bedroom site. Really starts to make sense when you start to dissect the rehost at this moment in time, because they're going back upstairs. This was a round that they did well in. They were able to waste a great deal of time. It's like, right, go back upstairs, do the same again, and we're in the rehost. We're going to talk about what we're doing back in Bar and Gaming and on Kitchen.
They have a clash, which they didn't have last time, so that is going to be a new one to have fun with and see what they have in store. I think the thing with the clash is, right now FURIA are lacking in information. Yeah, like we've seen, Rare trying to go for these quick peeks out the window, not knowing that Nesk is on the rooftop. Maybe if you have that clash can feed the information, being able to spot out these positions of Liquid, and then FURIA can capitalize on it. But again, Ollie, another opening pick for Liquid.
It's the Malusi curse, Demo. Anyone that's playing Malusi on the side of FURIA seems to be getting picked off fairly early on. That top of library stairs window going to be the culprit this time. The only problem that I see with bringing the clash is you forego your dock, which was such a big factor in the previous round. Ness gone for a double kill, takes down Fancy. Fancy just get caught flat-footed there in the site. Nothing stopping Sexy Kate from getting this wall open this time. No dock pressuring in behind it. He's going to be able to spend as much time as he needs to try and get this open. Of course, he is going to have to deal with a clash when that time comes. But Demo, time's looking pretty good.
Even if they wanted to, they could have used the Habana pellets. There's no denial in terms of the Kite. Sure, they have the Mute being brought up. That's very easily dealt with. So, yeah, perhaps going for the Maverick, a little bit risky, but maybe they're trying to bait in a bit of the clash, trying to come in and trying to catch her by surprise. Who knows? And Rare actually spins away and pulls out the SMG. Sexy Kick has opened up a hole now, so they have the breach, but still for FURIA, Ollie, they're backed in a corner.
Not ideal positioning really there for Rare. There's a lot of crossfires available to where he is stood, and Sexy Kick's going to take advantage of one of those taking down highs. A nade being cooked here in conjunction with an E1D popping out. It's going to force Rare all the way back into Piano. An upside down repel is a terrifying prospect for Miracle to deal with that, and a nade comes in. Another rotation kill for Team Liquid. Nesk hits a triple, Sexy Kick the double. A flawless round there for Liquid.
Back to back flawless rounds. We don't see that all too often. Liquid, extremely dominant. One thing I loved as well, we can see the man advantage working so well for Liquid, being able to rotate Paulu over to that double window, not allowing the smoke, not allowing Miracle to pull off, I suppose, a miracle in that situation. So yeah, overall Liquid, very, very dominant. I'm liking the rotates they're going for. Slow and steady wins the race for Liquid.
They're really just punishing FURIA at every turn here. FURIA can't move a square inch without moving into one of the many crossfires that have been set up for them there. That small adaptation of the clash really didn't work for them. And let's not forget, timeouts work both ways. Maybe the negative for taking your timeout early as FURIA did, it gave Liquid an opportunity to say, right, we struggled last time we attacked into Master Bedroom.
That was much better.
That's where they're going to go this time. Let's use this timeout to just discuss Master Bedroom. And that's obviously what they've done, because they've come out night and day different, been able to take the round. They're now 3-1 up here on Chalet, and things are starting to look pretty good for them.
Same bomb site again, and 2 more changes. We're seeing the Goyo come out with the Goyo shield, which is great for the utility. You can place them down, use them, of course, to your advantage if you are going to try and play a little bit more aggressive, which FURIA have definitely shown that they want to play a little bit more aggressive. And also, we have the Rune. Seen a little bit of her so far, SI, not overwhelming amounts, but still enough. Great for the setup. You can punch out as many holes as you want, and also those gates. Great for denying the projectiles. I'm not saying it.
What type of gates are they, Demo?
Laser gate. Oh, I said it again.
The good old laser gates of Aruni. A very, very popular tool at the moment in terms of denying some projectiles. You have to throw a projectile through the Aruni gate for it to burn, and your projectile is eaten up in the process. So you can think of it as a pseudo ADS or a pseudo magnet from Wamai. It really is going to do a very similar job. It does have a sort of ramp up time after it has been disabled, and it will reactivate upon a defender shooting the top of it. So multiple things that you're able to do with the Aruni gates, and we've seen just how good Liquid are at that utility dump and the way that they time all of those stuns with the nades. It could just be something to give FURIA an edge here.
Liquid love this rooftop, don't they? Chalet, of course, in the remake, made it so you could get onto the top of the building, and Liquid showcasing that very well of the certain angles you can have and covering a lot of the aggressive jump outs you can have towards the piano window and the bathroom window as well. So, yeah, Liquid actually changing up their strategies. Now we're seeing a Solarium push, which is, I think, more of the second class rated push. Usually teams go for the library start.
We saw a slight element of the Solarium push earlier. Moringa, if you notice where he is on that rappel, he's on the double window there of Master Bedroom, and he can play upside down on that rappel. It's a nightmare for him to be. He has just been C4'd out there. It's a huge kill to get. The upside down rappel or any pressure on that rappel is vital for a Solarium-sided push.
Yeah, double window essentially cuts the bomb site in two. Nobody can rotate to assist anyone who may be stuck inside of Bedroom. So a very important kill that FURIA needed, and also their first opening kill off the game. This is setting up to be a much better defense from them. Maybe Liquid should have went for the change-up, Ollie.
Quite possibly. Palu going to find himself a frag before being traded out there by C4 is going to miss, but the frag grenade doesn't. It's going to knock Rare into a down, but not out state. 40 seconds now remain. Liquid arguably got a little bit more time than they usually do as we're getting toward the sharper end of things here, but with Rare being revived, it is going to give a man count advantage here to FURIA. Highs is primed, ready and waiting. Sexy Kate going to cook a grenade, throw it on through, takes down Miracle. He's trying to pre-fire his way through into Piano now as well. Fantasy responds, shutting down Nesk. PSK trying to find some success on that rappel, but is just getting pressured at every turn. Sexy Cake, he's not really got more option but to try and go for a plant here. PSK has to go huge from the window. He finds one, finds two. The diffuser has now been confirmed. Highs, he's in the clutch situation. He's 1 versus 2 here. He's got a player on rappel to deal with, and Sexy Cake has scurried his way on through into office. It's going to be a tough post plant from here on out for Highs. He doesn't have his C4 with him anymore. He has used it earlier on in the round. A chance maybe to get a defuse off here. Sexy Cake has heard it. He got the audio cue, goes for the swing, finds the frag. Look how hyped Liquid are there.
Wow, pulling off a round which was on dire straits at a time, Ollie. Was not expecting for them to pull such a great 2 versus 3 plant down, and I mean, Sexcake making it happen with the nades. PSK, that man made that round. If he did not have that cover in Sexcake, Fury around all over, and that's the power of the double window.
We spoke about the double window, such an important zone. Moringa gets taken out of there. PSK, we saw his player cam for a little bit. He thought about repelling up. I'm not sure if he was trying to bait somebody for running out of him from trophy, but he kind of tossed the repel up onto the roof, didn't complete the action, didn't go up with it, then rotated to the trophy window, kept his eye on there, jumped in his drone, spent a little bit more time. Those small micro decisions there, knowing he's going to end up on that double window on the repel, but just making sure he's as safe as possible before he does so. Beautiful stuff there from Liquid. They really salvaged that round.
Got a happy Liquid fan there. Vamos Nesk. No surprise.
No surprise, Nest. Look at him. He's popping off so far. 7-2.
And if you think of Brazil, I think most people would say Brazil's best player. It always has been Nesk, hasn't it?
I know that you're very biased toward Nesk.
I just think that the pedigree the guy has, you have to respect it. I'm a big fan of the pedigree that players have in, you know, what they've won, what they've achieved. And currently in Siege, you know, there has been players out there who are considered greats, but have they won any trophies to show for it? No. Has Nesk? Yes, he has.
Round number 6 ticking on through now. Furia's last chance here on the defense. Liquid's last chance on the attack inside of regulation. After a good start, Furia seem to have lost their way somewhat, and Liquid have shook off the earlier result on Consulate against Cyclops.
Very well indeed.
And they've managed to come out very strong here. I think we've seen 2 flawless rounds. There's been, you know, really good focus on getting that defuse down. Lender this time though, gonna find an opener. Takes down your beloved Nesk demo.
He's gone. Let's see if the other boys from Liquid can try and push through, and oh, that's a great peek by Landa. He gets on the board now. That's 2 kills for him, and he wants more. Palu struggling to land the shots, and Landa has been able to run away now. Snag those 2 kills, and back he goes into the safety of the bomb site. A big thing, Ollie, that he's managed to do is eliminate the double hard breach. Fair enough, I don't think as a bomb site that is a necessity to have both of those operators, but still, it's going to hurt Liquid. That's nades gone, which, as we've seen, Sexcake, he loves the nades. Very, very potent with them.
It's the nades gone, it's some stuns gone as well, which we've seen them use to burn so much utility multiple times, and with Wamai being in play this round as well as the Jaeger, it puts a lot more pressure on those 3 remaining stuns in the hands of Moringa. Of course, there's a bit of lifeline left on PSK with Zephyr's kit and utility, so still a chance to wade through any magnets or ADSs, but it just makes the job a little bit more tricky.
So now Liquid, they're on the other end of struggling. 2 players down, all 5 players still left for Furia. What options do they have? Somebody from Liquid has to step up and make a big play. And throughout this competition, we have seen players grab the bull by the horns, drag it down and say, hey, we're going to win this round. Let's see if PSK, Moringa and Paulu can make it happen.
They've certainly got enough time to work with. They've got 40 seconds or so. Seems as though they're still setting themselves up as information could be running a little bit short just due to the timing. A Lion Scan and a Sledgehammer is going to see them straight on into Rare's gun barrel as he finds a frag over onto Moringa. Look at Palu, he doesn't know where to look. He's inside of Fireplace there, and he's left challenging a new angle every couple of seconds. Gets taken down from the library stairs. That's why that area is so dominant. PSK finds it down, but it is impact less. A flawless round for Furia, the 3rd one that we've seen so far, and the 1st one from Furia going out of their defensive phase strong.
Furia needing that final defensive win, or else you'd be staring at a 5-1 split to pull back, and that's not easy to do. At least 4-2. You still have a bit of leeway and have that fighting chance to pull it back. Liquid losing those first 2 opening kills really slowed them down, Ollie. It's something that we've picked up on. If Liquid don't have everything going their way, we can see the difference in this great team. You know, 2 flawless rounds whenever everyone's alive. They're perfect. They're magnificent. You lose 2 players, and all of a sudden, very, very slalom, kind of slow Liquid that just isn't really making anything happen.
I think it's who you lose as well. You know, you lose the nades, you lose double hard breach. It's a big loss there, and it speaks to how well Liquid play as a team. When they've got all of their utility and they have everything that they've planned to bring, they can use that in coordination with one another exceptionally well. When that doesn't happen, then they've got to try and adapt. And I think it's a difficult position for any team to be in when you have lost both your hard breaches in such an early fashion like that. It really does put FURIA in such a good spot. Lender, a massive, massive round number 6. Can he continue it here as the sides have switched? FURIA now on the attack. Team Liquid are going to take us upstairs for their first defense. Master and Office going to be the location.
Frost being picked up, an operator which has a lot of great abilities with the shotgun you get with setting up the entire site. Even the primary, I mean, the 9mm is a strong gun. It does hit very hard, and of course those beloved pog mats are always there to scare away somebody jumping through a window. And hey, that's one thing that we can always say. There's always a fun pog mat throughout a game if a team is constantly running the Frost.
I'm not a fan of the pog mat. The saying, I love the Frost
You're
mat.
too old to understand it.
Yeah,
You're too much of a boomer.
I'm old school. I'll call it a Frost mat. And I will tell you that a Frost mat.
I'm young, I'm hip, you know?
Demo, what do I always say? Frost mats, they win rounds.
They do, yeah.
Doesn't roll the same if you say pog mats win rounds. It just doesn't.
How about we let everyone decide? Is it Frost mat or pog mat? You be the judge. I know what I'm going for.
I feel like there's a chance I'll lose that one.
Definitely lose that one. And well, at the moment, Liquid are not losing this game. 4-2 they lead. In towards that library, a much more stiff hold compared to, I think, what FURIA kind of achieved. They didn't really have any interest in holding library at all, but Liquid, they have doubled down on it. And oh, PSK finds the first kill. I think Landa just ran in through lobby, and he's been eliminated. This setup from Liquid, they're trying to hold library, the bomb site, they're holding below the bomb site as well, in towards kitchen. So many things going on for Liquid right now, and Ness flicks onto Fantasy's head. Rare finds Sexy Cake, but still Liquid, they've done the damage.
They have that man count advantage here as well. Paul, you're going to see a little bit of damage there from a throwable before finding a kill over onto Miracle. Nesk stepping up with another frag over onto Rare Highs. He's outside in the cold. He's on the balcony in the 1 versus 4. And to me, it looks as though Nesk knows exactly where he is. He's got a minute, but he's going to be challenging against Nesk. Bit of a questionable swing there, but what else can he do? Nesk finds 3 frags over the course of the round, locks it in there for Liquid.
He's happy enough to sit and read a book and wait for everyone to dive on in, and Nesk just so strong in those positions. That's why Liquid play him there.
That replay was so quick. I don't know that if everyone at home actually saw what happened there, but Nesk went from shooting an X-Kairos pellet that was on the wall to immediately flick into a headshot. It was a one-tap on the X-Kairos, and then it was a drag down, mouse left, or mouse bottom right, and hitting onto the headshot. And he didn't even put a single point of damage onto his teammate that was the other side of the door. Incredible stuff.
Many a time somebody would TK the teammate as well, but not Nesk. Just how good is this Terminator today? And well, for FURIA, it's the one guy you never want to show up for Liquid if you're up against them. So, now we move into our next bomb site, a kitchen defense for Liquid. Operator lineup, very funky. You got the castle in there, you've got the Aruni now as well, that Frost still being prevalent. Wonder how they're going to go for this setup. Usually teams go in towards the office, in towards bedroom, castle off a couple of windows here or there to help support the team. But Liquid, I think they're probably going to go for something a little bit more unorthodox. And it looks as if they are. They're now reinforcing in towards library, so I assume they're going to try and hold top of fireplace, making sure nobody can enter in through Kanan. Even to extent holding in towards library, they're going for, again, a very similar hold to what they did last time, Ollie.
It's really just saying, look, FURIA, if you want any access into this map, you're going to have to fight us for it.
They have like 60% map control right now. The only thing they don't have is bottom floor pressure, and on Chalet, bottom floor doesn't really give you a whole lot.
Well, Fancy's going to be looking for something down there, as that's where he chooses to make his entry. Miracle challenging there onto the bar window, but Fancy shut down instantly. Moringa, where is the intel? How does he know?
I assume he probably heard them rushing in from below. You can definitely hear the sound travel that far down, and very simple for Moringa just to go for the quick peek. And, well, FURIA have tried a very aggressive rush just from the one-player Fantasy. And they've lost their Ashe. That's a lot of utility as well, Ollie. That's one thing that, you know, we talk about Ashe being that main entry with the gun, but the utility you get from the breaching rounds is so essential for so many setups.
Really is. It's going to leave FURIA wanting here, especially when they're going up against a castle. You could rely on the Ashe breaching round to get rid of some of those castle barricades if it's not safe for the sledge to get close enough. Obviously, you can still use the X-Kairos pellets, but Hyze will have to get himself in to be able to do that. Lender, he's able to find a frag over onto Palu. He now continues to drone on in, just gather himself a little bit of intel. Sexy Cake's being pressured here at the top of Fireplace as well. PSK with the cover, comes in with a frag over onto Miracle and shuts him down.
So many angles Liquid have set up, and FURIA have no idea where to look. From below, nades are going to be tossed out by Lender, but that's nowhere near Sexy Cake. He moves at the right time. Timing on the side of Liquid right now. Let's see if they can finish off this round in good fashion. Sexy Cake's going to try and dip and dive and dodge it everywhere he can away from these bullets that are raining in right by his head. Rare trying his best to see if he can thread the needle through this window, but Liquid are tearing them limb from limb. This is their stomping ground, and they will hold it down.
Puts Team Liquid there onto a match point here on Chalet. FURIA, as predicted, not able to get themselves into the building in any substantial fashion. Team Liquid's hold so aggressive there, not giving an inch away to the attackers.
So dominant in the map control. FURIA, I mean, struggling to get into the building is the biggest issue. They've had to get into the building by going downstairs, which, as we know, doesn't give you anything. You need to try and get in towards the top floor, establish your control, fight those long angles that you have. Yeah, Liquid having every entryway covered up. Like, even we've seen Rare struggling outside on the balcony of Piano. He can't get through because of the Aruni gates. They've covered for everything, Ollie. Their setup literally was stop them getting in through windows. Castles, Frost, Arunis. What else could you want?
If they can't get into the windows, then they're unlikely to be able to win the round. It's kind of funny as well, because how successful were Team Liquid on their attacks at getting kills from the windows?
Yeah.
Really successful.
The difference is FURIA, they were out looking for the kills, trying to eliminate Liquid before they could have the setup. Liquid, they know they don't just have to sit and wait. They'll let FURIA sweat it out. That's the difference. FURIA hunted for the kills, Liquid aren't. FURIA are feeding Liquid.
Liquid, a team that are very comfortable in that final 20 seconds or so. It's territory that they are very well familiar with. So if rounds do have to come down to that sort of time, then, you know, so be it. It really is just one of those things, and they will be able to perform under that pressure. The pressure at the moment is going to be all on the shoulders of FURIA. They have a little bit of a mountain to climb here. They're going to need 4 flawless rounds if they want to try and take this one to an overtime. And with what we've seen so far, it looks like it could be quite tricky for them. They have used the timeout quite famously very early on in the game as well. So no opportunity to take a moment to breathe here.
Liquid now, and they're set up. We'll be going into another different bomb site for them, towards that bar area now. And Liquid, once again, with this heavy map control, is where they set up shop. A lot of drones being sent in through. They know Six Cake is there, but a very difficult position to deal with him. Fantasy makes himself known. He's out on the balcony, and has to be careful. Could get peeked from the library corridor, and almost happens to him. I think that's Ness going for a quick peek, but she was backs away, and even, look at that, another one. PSK tries his hand, but Fantasy is ready for it. Is he ready for the second? Ness looks away at the wrong time, and Fantasy gets a little bit of chip damage in, and Liquid, that's forced them away, and finally, FURIA, they're in the building, and they have a good foothold from that office.
It's an opening kill as well for FURIA. It might be something that they're able to try and work with here. Palu going to be downstairs inside a wine. I doubt that anybody really knows where he's playing. Nesk still occupying the power position at the top of those library stairs. FURIA have time here to gather some information, as there is plenty of the round remaining, but they need to press this advantage, Demo.
Liquid are happy enough just to sit back and let FURIA do their thing. Obviously, Nesk in that power position has the shield on the top of the stairs, and he can try and pick them off one by one, and FURIA really stacking up. Here comes the projectiles being tossed in, trying to scare away Nesk and eliminate that shield, but just look at all the angles. FURIA really doubting themselves and where to look. They don't exactly know where he is. But he actually just fallen off. Nesk now back in sight, and Liquid again, just giving up more map control, but this stage, Ollie, they don't need it.
Palu now going to make that rotation. He's been hiding out inside of the basement for pretty much the entirety of the round. It could be a big threat here for the side of FURIA. Sexy Cake, he's going to find himself into an opening engagement, grabs the kill over onto Fancy, levels out that man count. It's going to be even more difficult now here for FURIA. A refrag found by Rare. 15 seconds remain on the clock. Highs has the diffuser in hand. Moringa still has 2 Toxic Babe canisters after tossing just one of them out a little bit earlier on. Miracle finds the frag, but where is the diffuser? It doesn't look to be going down just yet, and there's only 2 seconds left. Moringa finds the frag. Highs is confirming that diffuser. Swings galore as Ness comes in, finding himself a kill. It's a 1 versus 1 now, as there is a player down. A post-plant situation. Unfortunate team kill there, as one of the players was just getting finished on off. Is a revive going to happen here? Nesk is going to pick up Moringa. Highs, he's got 25 seconds to try and keep hold of this diffuser. Needs to win himself an engagement here and break this down. Goes for the swing, finds the headshot onto Nesk. Stay alive, Highs. No! It's all in tatters. Moringa with the shotgun at close range. He's got twice as much time as he needs to get that disable onto that planted diffuser. Team Liquid, they are going to be our winners here on Chalet. Demo, what a last round!
Oh, Liquid somehow, some way, pulls out that round win. That should have been FURIA's all day long. But hey, give credit to Ness. The last man standing got the revive, was enough to bait out the remaining player. And from there, it was just picking up the pieces.
The revive was crucial at that moment in time, you know, going from a 1v1 to a 2 versus 1, and Highs in an incredibly difficult situation. He's just wondering all the time, is he getting baited? Is he baiting the revive and then waiting to try and take me out? Is he baiting, disabling the diffuser and then ready to take me out? A difficult spot for poor old Highs to be in. But Liquid, they dig deep, they respond after that loss earlier on against Cyclops on Consulate, and they get a win here on Chalet against FURIA.
Liquid continuing now with a form, a little bit of a blip against Cyclops, but that has been washed away with a very dominant performance against FURIA. We'll be back after a break to break it all down with our analysts.